This is a case that we have been following for more than a year now. We have those records here. There's 150 pages in all. One of the big reasons that you're going to be seeing them out here for so long are the down trees. You can see this tree, it's been cut up already and tossed off the lines, but this brought down the power lines here. Well, there was a lot of anticipation leading up to when they actually spoke. They believe there was one shooter. This home that we're at right here on Brevard Street, it is one of those 44 potential demo cases with the city. It's not the first time that the idea of consolidation has come up. It's been on the ballot 4 separate times, and each time failing. But you don't need to look far to find a city that does operate this way. They are very busy. I saw a picture actually just tweeted out a little bit ago from the supervisor of elections with a line just out the door at the Civic Center. While they're working to get the power back on, you also see sites like this. We've got just a down transformer just sitting on the ground next to us. After mass shootings, it's not uncommon for us to hear these discussions about increasing security in some of our most sensitive areas. 14 years ago, and at this church right here in Tallahassee, those are the numbers he's giving us. 7 victims in all, 6 of them shot. That additional person pistol whipped.
We begin with Capital City correspondent Mariel Carbone with more on what happened inside that federal courthouse today.
Scott Maddox and Paige Carter Smith having little to say in court today, only a yes sir, no sir to the judge. Both sitting dressed business casual, but their ankles shackled together as both pleaded not guilty to 44 counts. With cameras snapping, Scott Maddox and Paige Carter Smith leave the federal courthouse. Both say they're innocent.
They're strong people, and they're going to fight, and they're going to clear their names. That's what we're going to do.
The 66-page indictment lays out 44 charges, most surrounding their lobbying firm, Governance Inc., alleging the 2 directed clients to pay thousands of dollars to Governance in exchange for Maddox's favorable vote at City Hall. Clients include a waste management company, ride-sharing company, and even an FBI-fronted development company.
It's painful, and I think I've used the word I'm pissed that potentially was going on with somebody sitting next to me.
Former City Commissioner Gil Ziffer served 2 terms alongside Maddox. He says the indictments are a sort of vindication for the rest of City Hall.
This is potentially about an individual within the government and somebody outside the government. It was not the government itself.
None of us could have known, and certainly none of us participated in it.
Commissioner Curtis Richardson calls it the beginning of the end and says the commission won't focus on the indictments.
And we'll let that play itself out in the courtroom, but we're going to stay laser focused on leading the city of Tallahassee.
Meanwhile, Maddox and Carter Smith released until trial, where they plan to tell their sides of the story.
We're going to fight this indictment tooth and nail.
And a trial date has been set for January 14th, but prosecutors say this investigation is not over yet, meaning more indictments could be on the way. Eden, a lot of work ahead for those crews, but the mayor's office tweeting out a few hours ago to expect some significant restoration tonight. But with more than 90% of the grid knocked out from this storm, it's going to take a lot of work and crews working hard to do that.
The power was just like off and on. When it fell, we actually heard it.
The power going dark for Michael Barnes around 2:30 on Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, a waiting game as crews replaced the cracked poles he heard fall.
You see what we had. We out here, watching. This is more interesting than being in the house.
City officials say trees caused a significant amount of damage to the system.
Not only in the electric system, but across roads. It's probably equivalent to or worse than Hermine as far as the tree damage that we've got out there.
The damage may be worse, but the help even greater. By Thursday evening, more than 25 utility crews assisting.
What I feel confident about is that we've got the appropriate number of crews that we're going to need to get our system rebuilt.
Mayor Andrew Gillum assessing the damage citywide. He says there's no time frame yet on how long it'll take to restore power, but asks for patience.
In Hermine's case, within 3 days, 72 hours, we had 90% of the system, our customers back up. I'm hoping we'll be able to beat that, but we won't know until we've got a final assessment done of the impact to the system.
We got flashlights and We just talk to each other and listen to the radio.
In the meantime, those without power making the best of it.
A typical hurricane. You're going to lose power and you just got to deal with it. That's all.
And crews are working around the clock to restore power. Once it hits nightfall, the crews, it goes to a little bit more of a skeleton crew. Not as many people out there just because they need light to be able to make some of those major repairs. So once daybreak comes, that's when you'll see a lot more of those crews heading back out onto the streets to get that power restored as quickly as possible.
Capital City correspondent Mariel Carbone is investigating this evening. Mariel?
Well, Ben, the tourism development tax brings in millions of dollars for the county each year, and that money helps support tourism initiatives from marketing to infrastructure like the Cascades Amphitheater. But the enforcement of that, not always so simple. Cleaning up for clients. Deidre Mitchell operates this vacation rental home in Midtown, taking in a few $100 a night.
It's almost like you're renting out your home and now you have a mini business.
Keeping up with taxes, a small but important price to pay.
You can see that $9 was taken from the guests.
She's registered with the county to pay taxes, but admits not all home sharing hosts are.
I think people just decided, since there's not a clear understanding, that they just opt out at this time.
Under state and local law, all short-term rentals, from hotels like the DoubleTree to Airbnbs, are required to pay the county's 5% tourism development tax. Last year, the county collected $5.8 million. What is the importance of this?
It's for the community.
Doris Malloy is Leon County's tax collector. She says for vacation rentals, the responsibility of collecting the bed tax falls on the host. But because it's the honor system, we're finding the county could be missing out on money. According to Malloy, aside from hotels and motels, only 59 entities, including apartments, townhomes, and condos, are registered with the tax collector's office. A quick survey on home sharing sites finds many, many more.
We can go out and say, well, we see that you're advertising your home to be, for lease. And we could contact that individual and they say, oh, no, we didn't do anything. And that's about the extent of it.
4 major home sharing companies operate in Leon County. The 2 biggest players, Airbnb and Expedia's HomeAway, or VRBO.
There's confusion about what taxes apply. Am I responsible? How often am I supposed to do it?
Ben Bright is working to change that. He's with Airbnb and says the company is trying to make it easier for hosts to stay compliant. Last year, it entered an agreement with Leon County to collect and remit the tax for its hosts. In 6 months, it collected $58,000 for the county.
It just ensures that there are no discrepancies, no confusion. Everyone's paying the same taxes.
But then there are others. Hi, Philip. This is Mariel Carbone with WCTV. In Florida, HomeAway only has a tax agreement in Broward County. We reached out for comment, but did not hear back. Right now, roughly 90 homes are listed on VRBO's website alone. That's more than the 59 rentals registered with the county.
I do think that we are missing out. To say let's create a unit to go out and enforce, I don't think so.
Some county officials believe the right move is for a regulatory framework that compels these companies to follow the law. For hosts like Mitchell, they just like to see some consistency.
So it could be fair amongst all the hosts and all the different platforms.
Keeping hosts compliant while also keeping guests comfortable. Julie, Ben, there's no saying exactly how much money the county is missing out on, but Malloy says that if they ever felt it was a significant enough amount, they would make sure to find a way to enforce this. Much more on this story on our website, WCTV.tv. Reporting live from the Governor's Club, Mariel Carbone, WCTV Eyewitness News.